Jean-Paul Sartre was a French playwright, novelist, screenwriter, political activist, biographer, literary critic, and philosopher. He once said, "In football, everything is complicated by the presence of the opposite team." But now, how does that translate to a new tactic in Football Manager? Let's find out. Now, one thing to note as we get into this tactic that is called Sartre's 4-2-3-1 possession, the creator specifically states in the write-up, finally we get a tactic that has a full description in what you should find, what you should do, the players you should get. Thank you for that. That is absolutely helpful and what everyone should be doing. But before we get into that, this creator specifically states that you need certain players to fit these certain roles, and that they could, you need pass the ball well, you need good technique. They talk about the deep lying playmaker, what his role should be, and a few other items like this throughout the tactic. So keep all of this information in mind. And as always, once you go to a tactic, once you see the tactic, if there is a good written description like this, follow it as best as you can. There's no real plug and play tactics anymore. Sure, I can throw most tactics at Liverpool or Man City and they'll do very well. But how is, Aston Villa apparently has done very well anyway without a lot of these tactics, but Everton still climbing the ranks, trying to figure out their footing and all that. If you can fit some of these players into these roles and get the transfers in that I'm not doing, because again, I am just doing a season-long holiday and that is it. But if you can get some of these players in that fit specifically these roles, I'm sure Everton can do a lot better. This tactic should be a lot of fun to see. We're going to dive right into the tactic itself. It's fairly standard 4-2-3-1 right there. You have a goalkeeper in defend, wing back on support on both sides, ball playing defender on both sides, a ball winning midfielder in support, a deep lying playmaker in support, two inside forwards, one on support on the left, one in attack on the right, an attacking midfielder in central on attack, and then an advanced forward on attack. Nothing really too in-depth about this. The only tie-in, you got these three in attack, you got these guys in support, along with the wingbacks. So we'll see what the actual stats say and what you've sort of seen what the final positions were. But mentality is positive. This is a custom vertical tiki-taka in possession, attacking fairly wide. Approach play is pass into space, play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter. Tempo is standard. Time wasting never. Thank God for that. Final third, mixed crosses, work the ball in the box, and run at defense. In transition, counter press, distribute to center backs, and take short kicks. And then out of possession, higher press line of engagement, higher defensive line. Not much more often, but more often trigger press this time. Prevent short keeper distribution, get stuck in, and trap outside. And just for the hell of it, opposition instructions are nothing. Let's get to this table and see what happened. To be honest, it is a fairly standard end of the season for these three teams. Liverpool come in first with a whopping 93 points. Really well done. Aston Villa, again, someone had mentioned a while back that Aston Villa do fairly well on their own. And as you can see, 5th spot right now with Europa League. Yeah, not too bad, with 68 points. Everton only in 12th, but Europa League right there. I wonder why is that? I'm guessing they won an FA Cup or something like that. But 12th, scheduled to be 16th, so they grew a bit, I guess, 49 points. Still, what is that, 16 or so off the relegation zone? Not too bad, but still fairly standard for pretty much what we've seen so far. So Everton, as you can see, starting out the season, not great. A 2-3 loss at home against Fulham, 0-4 against Man City away from home. They did record a couple wins in a row against Nottingham Forest, 0-1, Leeds United in the FA Cup second round, 3-1. But again, thank you, FM. Right back to Leeds, loss. They've got quite a few here. I'm guessing at Southampton, maybe as the season goes on, your players are going to start getting used to the tactic a lot more and more and more. So maybe here against Southampton, it's really starting to finally sink in. They're getting a lot of much better results than before. But still, it's fairly spotty overall. Coming back in April, not great. 3 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. It was a busy season, or a busy April for them. But FA Cup semifinal against Aston Villa 2-0. Man City 1-0 win in the FA Cup final. I'm guessing that is what gave them Europa spots. Aston Villa, tail at the very end of the season, minus the FA Cup, 5-0 thrashing. Liverpool 1-4 loss. Overall, not too bad. I mean, 12th place, actually, we've seen them in 10th with a lot worse of a record, it looks like. But, the first part of the season, not great. The start to the second half was much better, but then right into April and just smashing any hopes and dreams of getting a little bit higher in the table. If we look at Aston Villa's schedule, a much better start to the season. Look at this. Porto is the only loss during the friendly season, and then you have nothing until 0-2 against Leeds. Leeds, a tough team this season, but Newcastle and Liverpool 1-2 apiece, but a fantastic August, a not great September, coming back in October with just 2 losses, but then Slavia Prague 4-3 win. Mainz with a friendly cup win, so they do have a cup in there, a trophy to add to the cabinet. Liverpool, EFL Cup 4th round, 1-all in penalties. So continuing on there, quarterfinal cup in the EFL, and again, another penalties against Tottenham, 3-all. Where do they finish? The final, semifinals. They lose out in the semifinals against Man City, unfortunately. Wow, that's several matches quite in a row. But overall, up until April again, they were doing very well. And then 5 losses, 1 draw, and 2 wins. Not a great April at all for either of these teams. A 0-5, yeah, we saw that, I guess. 0-5 loss against Everton. That one just hurts. And then as we finish out with Liverpool, you could see FA Cup Community Shield trophy in the bag right at the start of the season. 0-1 against Manchester United. Why? They just can't beat Manchester United. But 5-0 over Chelsea, 7-0 over Brighton, 5-1 over Southampton. For some reason, I'm not seeing the month breakout yet again. But overall, this August was fantastic. They did an amazing smash up job on everyone. There we go. If I move down for some reason, it shows up. Thank you, FM, for yet another bug. But Champions League Group G against Ajax, 0-1. 0-1 in the Premier League against Bournemouth, a 5-0 thrashing against Red Star, 3-0 again against Red Star. Moving on in the Champions League, definitely. There's that Aston Villa dropout in penalties against, again, in the EFL Cup 4th round. FA Cup 3rd round, Sunderland. 4th round, 5-1 against Fulham. Very nicely done there. Round of 16 against Juve, 1-0. And that's away from home. And then at home, 2-1 win. Moving on to the quarters against Bayern Munich, 2-1, and then 5-2 wins. There's that sandwich between Everton, 4-1 win away from home. Aston Villa, 4-0. Nice job. But as you can see, they moved up and up and up. They beat Real Madrid finally. 1-all away from home, 2-1 at home, and then they beat FC Barcelona in penalties in the Champions League final. So they have yet another trophy. So that's 3 trophies this season. I'm guessing that's it, right? So Premier League win with 93 points, Champions League win, penalties against Barcelona. Fantastic result there. Would have been nice to get an actual goal. But knocked out in the 5th round by Newcastle in the FA Cup, knocked out in the 4th round by Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup, and FA Community Shield winners right there. Well, we don't care about the Carabao Cup all that much. Very few top teams do. It's mostly for their youngsters. FA Cup kind of hurts, but the Champions League win is a massive one, as is the Premier League. So these two combined kind of make up for these two, to me at least. And then the FA Community Shield is a friendly anyway, but a fantastic way to get another trophy over Manchester City. Fantastic job all around. But let's see the Premier League stats. As you can see, most goals, Liverpool with 101. So we're keeping that 100 plus goals a season consistent across a lot of these different tactics where they've been winning, where we've been using them. So it's very nice to see. Aston Villa with 67 in 4th. Not too bad. Fewer shots against Liverpool with 329. Not too bad there. So the defense is actually working a bit. Fewest conceded Liverpool with only 29. Most shutouts Liverpool with 17. And then most points per game, 2.45 for Liverpool and 1.79 for Aston Villa. Let's see, most shots, 731. Man City got 730. But look at the difference between these 3 teams. 731 for Liverpool, 1 less with Man City with 730, and then Manchester United with 594. What is that, 100 and almost 40 shots difference. Aston Villa in 5th with 572, Everton with 493. I will say stats-wise, this tactic is not doing too badly. Just kind of the points-wise overall. Holland with 35 goals, most in the league. Isaac with 25, not too bad there. Ronaldo's still there with 23. Mohamed Salah with 23 as well. And Nunez with 22, one below. Most assists, Mohamed Salah with 13. Diaz with 12. Buendia with 12. And then Gordon with 9. Most player in the match awards, Holland, of course, with 11. Salah with 8. And Nunez with 6. So it looks like it's fairly well spread out on Liverpool's side. We'll see in a little what their actual overall results were based on the squad. But fewest conceded, Allison in 6th with 26. Most shutouts, though, Allison with 16. So very nicely done. Mohamed Salah tackles 101. Gordon with 97. That's pretty interesting. Key passes, Alexander-Arnold with 129. He's always usually up there. Salah with 95. And then most shots, 192 for Holland. Salah with 116. Nunez not even in the list. But overall, pretty good. So if we go to Everton just quickly, 17 goals for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Overall, 721 for Doucouré. I haven't seen his name a lot in these tactics. Gordon with 10 assists and 5 player of the match awards for Doucouré. Aston Villa, go to the home. 23 goals for Danny Ings, pretty much roughly what we're seeing nowadays with a lot of these tactics that Aston Villa is doing very well. Philippe Coutinho, there we go, the boy from Liverpool, and thereabouts, 725 highest average rating. Buendia with most assists with 13, and then Danny Ings and Emiliano Buendia with 6 player of the match awards. And as we hit with Liverpool and finish up there, Mohamed Salah with 32 goals overall. Not a great tally there at all, I will say. 762 highest average rating, 18 goals, all Mohamed Salah, and then 10 player of the match awards for Mohamed Salah. If we quickly look at the squad, goals-wise, you can see 32 for Salah, Nunez with 30, Firmino with 17, Jota with 16, and Diaz with 10. So these guys all have they're spreading it out nicely. And then quickly with assists, Salah, Diaz, Thiago, Carvalho, and Alexander-Arnold with... Oh, Adam Lewis is out on loan, so... All of those with 10 plus there, not too bad. Again, Robertson only with 5, not getting the assists, not being the assist man that he is in real life. So, but anyway, that is it for the Sartre's 4-2-3-1 possession tactic. Overall, fairly standard, not too big of a difference from a lot that we've seen. We've seen others that have done better. We've seen others that have done worse. So I'd put this right in the middle of all of those. But all 3 teams getting European competition next season is a fantastic result for all 3. Even if Everton end up in 12th, they definitely prioritized the FA Cup right there, beating Man City. Fantastic result for them. So that's it for me, Seffing FM for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.